Merry Christmas, everyone. You know, when I made those Christmas reviews last year, I never would have thought that so many people would defend the Polar Express. I was genuinely surprised to see how many people loved this garbage. But whatever, I've clowned on the Polar Express way too much, and I think I've got it all out of my system. With that said, there are 4 more Christmas movies I want to talk about, so why don't we just do what I did last year? 4 movie reviews in 1 month. One on the 4th, then the 11th, then the 18th, then the 25th. And yes, the 25th is going to be the one that everyone's been asking for, okay? Hopefully these will be short enough to get out in time. To start this holiday season, I really felt like making everyone mad. So why don't we start out with a bang? The Grinch remake is one of the worst Christmas movies I have had the patience to sit through. Alright, before I make people scream at their phones, let's acknowledge that the original is clearly better. In everything. In the world. Other than Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I guess. Still, remakes and sequels can be good if they're at least different from the original in any way. To me, a different version of the Grinch is a worthwhile version of the Grinch. And this movie sure is different. So it gets a pass. The Disney ones do not. No matter how technically good Aladdin and the Jungle Book are. It's the same movie, so who cares? The problem with the Grinch remake is not that it's too similar to the original. The problem is literally everything else. First, let's talk about Jim Carrey's performance. So, I actually like Jim Carrey a lot, okay? He's really fun, and he's been in a ton of great movies, blah blah blah. But the problem is, Jim Carrey and The Grinch. Look, The Grinch is a genius idea if you really think about it. A down-on-his-luck evil man who is constantly irrationally angry at the singing weirdos below him. It's a funny character because we relate to his hatred of all these Whos, who might be a bit perky but are still likable. Nailing The Grinch is being able to hate the Whos, while also making yourself somewhat identifiable to the millions of people watching this movie. Jim Carrey can't be that person. Jim Carrey was in The Mask, where he played an insane possessed guy or something. I don't know, it's been a while. He played a guy who taught his 8-foot-tall, 400-pound kids how to swear. He is not a normal person reacting to the weirdos. The normal people react to him. And yeah, his performance is kind of funny sometimes. But think about what this is implying. The Grinch is looking down on all of these weird people, but then turns around and starts blabbering and being weird himself. No good Grinch character, remake or otherwise, could act like this and get away with it. It's just completely contradictory to who he is. How am I supposed to believe that this guy hates people for being weird when he is 10 times weirder than them? I think how everybody treats him is also super telling of this problem. Instead of treating him badly because he's mean, the Who seem to be embarrassed by him, which is just a terrible idea in general. No longer do I see the Who's as slightly mean for constantly shunning the Grinch, who is seemingly happy alone in his cave. Now I see the Grinch as a pity character who is kind of insane at the top of a mountain, and the other Who's want to distance themselves from him because he keeps ruining everything they do. So now the Who suck for continuously pushing this poor guy away, and this backstory makes it so that they were always bad and racist, and the Grinch himself sucks because he keeps ruining their festivities. Wait, who's the good guy again? And speaking of the characters, what is this costume design? I mean, yeah, I know it's an animated movie and it has a distinct charm to it, but I'm pretty sure the Grinch musical did a better job of recreating this world. And that's a live event. Yes, there was a Grinch musical. And it looked better than this. Even the animated picture book, nor the original movie, were not this over the top with the hair and the sets and like, what were they even thinking? I don't understand rationalizing putting these guys in the movie when they are not even this cartoony in the animated version. Tone it down, it looks like a nightmarish funhouse. Also, what the is this? Yeah, I know that this movie has become a cult classic when it really should be as ridiculed as Norm of the North if you really think about it. But imagine hearing this guy at the writer's table who thought of this. Hey guys, I know we did a great job on this animated movie, but you know what it was missing? Baby Grinch. Actually, now that I think about it, this entire backstory is just the worst. All of the sets, which should be the best part of the movie, look lifeless. Why would I want to go see a Christmas movie when the main color is just toned out green? Not even a nice shade, mind you. Just ugly, oversaturated green. I almost wonder if they should have put a filter on this movie to brighten up the colors more, but it seems like they did the exact opposite. Forget about comparing this movie to the original. This movie's colors are drab and dark, even comparing it to a realistic drama. And good Christmas movies thrive off their beautiful visuals. But nothing about this movie is nice to look at. So yes, this film is a terrible regular movie. but it's also an even worse Christmas movie.
And yes, I know that these sets do sometimes look genuinely good, but the colors never seem to match what's expected to be on screen. It's like they deliberately filmed the entire movie in front of a fog machine because reasons. But oh, I'm just forgetting all the classic story beats. I mean, who could forget the great love triangle subplot between the Grinch and two of the Who's? Who could forget the classic relationship of Max and the Grinch, where Max says or does nothing and isn't really his own character? Or when the narrator just happens to pop out of the blue to deliver a line and then disappear for an hour. There's a lot of weird things that happen in this movie. In terms of things I like, I'll admit this story does have a lot that's charming about it. Nothing that the other two Grinch movies do better, but I appreciate them keeping a few aspects of the other movies I liked. The main plot of the movie with Cindy Lou is cute. It's a great idea for a story in general, and I feel like no matter which version of the Grinch I see, I will always appreciate what they do to make it different. Sometimes when the Grinch and Jim Carrey separate and I can forget that he's green, I can enjoy Jim Carrey's stand-up. He is genuinely funny. This is just not the time or place. Sometimes the sets look nice. Too bad I couldn't see them through the fog. Sometimes the Who's look passable if they didn't ruin it by ruining their nose because we can't have good facial designs. I'm sorry, I just really hate this movie. It has the occasional decent line and it can sometimes look okay, but this is just not my Christmas movie. It's just painful to watch in more ways than one. It could have been such a simple change too. Just make the movie's colors pop out a bit more and change the character design for the Who's. Also recast the Grinch. I'm not saying a Grinch remake is impossible or that it's a terrible idea conceptually. I feel like this story could be decent if there was more creativity and wit added to the project. But it really didn't seem like the people making this movie were interested in the movie they were making. I know that sounds harsh, but seriously, Baby Grinch and a love triangle. Seems like it was a mess from the beginning. If you want a good Christmas movie and you love The Grinch, just watch the original. I can't think of anything that he does worse than this movie. Christmas score 2 out of 10, movie score 3 out of 10.